inside for Albert. Albert will get the score. It's farewell. He tapped into a legend and probably rugby league immortality. That's not a try, that's a miracle.
Welcome back to the Take the Two podcast this week with a new co-host coming in. It's called Take the Two because we have Sowie in. He's always a bit of a coward that takes the two. We're more tap and run guys.
Yeah.
Me and Randall, how are you?
Good, mate. Good. I didn't miss the memo for the sunglasses. Those are the brightest lights I've ever seen in my life. But thanks for having me on. And absolutely right. We definitely tap and run with it whenever we can.
Yeah, welcome to first grade, mate. There's bright lights here. It's not about even or SC playbook or any of that crap. This is first grade football here. The lights are bright and the rewards are big.
Huge.
So brace yourself.
Huge. Can't wait to see my stocks go up or down.
Now, our show is once again brought to you by Neds. If you are following along with my bets on the weekend, you won't be having baked beans for dinner. I'll tell you that much for free. You would have had a nice, jolly little weekend. If you're in the Pots bet with us, I did my job. The other boys didn't. Shock me. Connor Watson, $4.80. Thanks for coming. And if you got on the Warriors multi there, which robbed of immortality this week, which I won't bring it up again, but I'm not happy about it. 49 of the best dollary dues Brisbane has ever seen. Tough break there. But brought to you by Neds. Guys, jump onto the app, follow along. We'll give you my multi of the week at the end of the show. Now, without Sowie in the building, I thought we'd lean into some of your magic stats. Origin just around the corner. I feel like Origin's just around the corner in November, to be honest with you, especially for people like us. But you've put together the statistical Origin sides for this year, correct?
Absolutely, and I want to really stress the statistical part.
Yeah.
This is not the huge belief. There also isn't too many massive shockers. I'm going to throw out names. I'm going to say this guy should probably be there, but based on the stats, this guy is statistically better so far this season. Not saying he's a better footballer in real life. Some of these guys are young kids, so I'm not disregarding the experience of other players, but just a different look at a State of Origin side here. If
you choose to ignore that warning and still spray him in the comments, I'm kind of okay with it. I think it's kind of funny when it happens to him.
I'm going to assume you and Kat are going to clip me up bad, real bad, and just throw me under the bus and make it look like I'm saying so-and-so is the greatest player of all time when they're probably running last on the ladder.
Yeah, we're good like that. Now, what do you want to start with? The New South Welshmen or the two-headed freaks? What do you
Let's go with the away team, New South Wales.
The Origin Shield defending side.
Haven't won 8 in a row team. The one that hadn't won the 8 in a row.
Be nice if you won 1 in a row occasionally.
Well, we'll get you.
Yeah,
we
got the trophy. Anyhow, I always forget you're a Queenslander.
It's all right, mate. It's all right. Well, Terrell took a big jab at me, one of those New South Wales-born Queenslanders. So,
you are too. That's rank.
I know. Well, when you have a dad who's a Queenslander, hopefully people in the know about that you got to support Queensland. It's your only choice. You get waterboarded, all these different military technique styles to try and get the New South Wales out of you. That's what I went through.
Speaking of dad, have you kissed him on the mouth recently? Or
no,
what?
I haven't. He doesn't let me anymore. Too much tongue, he says.
That's mad. All right. Well, let's kick off with New South Wales.
Take me away. All right. Fullbacks, obviously, hot contested position. I think James Tedesco has to be the starting fullback here. I know a lot of people think Dylan Edwards worked for them last season, but really like what Teddy's been doing. He's averaging 1.5 line break involvements per game, 1 try involvement per game, averaging over 200 metres, 7 tackle breaks per game as well. Just been electric in attack. What I really like when you compare him to Dylan Edwards is compared to Dylan Edwards, he averages 12 less receipts per game. So he is choosing his moments and having multiple impact. If you don't know what a receipt is, that's the amount of touches a player has in a game. Looking at Dylan Edwards' side, obviously some injury-impacted games, but under a try involvement, 1.17 line break involvements as well, and less tackle breaks. Kind of Teddy dominating all the key stats in attack there. So that's why I have Teddy just slightly above Dylan Edwards for that number 1 spot.
Teddy has 12 less receipts a game than Edwards.
32 per game compared to Edwards' 42.
That shocks me. Does that surprise you? Or?
Surprised me too. Had to go through the stats, double check that was right, but yeah.
Did you carry the 1 on that one?
I did carry the 1 on that one.
That's
I'm Queenslander,
really
I get my maths right.
Me. Now, me personally, I think if Edwards is fit, once you look outside of the stats and the context of what happened last year and everything, I think he will be there, but if we're looking just raw numbers and form, Teddy very hard to deny from that side.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think? Well, I think you mentioned it perfectly on Bloke last week. Yesterday.
That, yeah.
Technically, do that. That doomed if Laurie picks him.
Yeah.
Doomed if he doesn't. Because if Dylan Edwards goes out there, struggles, everyone will be like, "Why didn't you pick Teddy?" Vice versa. So yeah.
And if he gets it right, everyone will go, well, you should have got it right.
Yeah, exactly.
Great
You had
options.
to.
It's a lose-lose. It sucks for
Literally
Laurie.
lose.
Gun to head if you remove the stats at the moment, which I know is tough for you.
Yeah, very tough.
Who do you think Laurie Daly will pick game one?
I think Dylan Edwards. I think he's going to go with current form. Dylan Edwards definitely solid at the back. Did the job for New South Wales. Obviously, Teddy unfairly was the scapegoat after Sowie took a head off a Queenslander. But Dylan Edwards won those last 2 games, so I assume he picks him. But I reckon. Do you reckon if Dylan Edwards slips up, Teddy's straight back in, or do you reckon he'll get a second chance?
I think if Edwards is, well, you got to remember Edwards plays Cowboys this week. Personally, I think they'll win that well.
Yep.
I'm sure you'd agree.
I'm slightly nervous. Yep.
They got the bye the week after, so if he can just get through this game,
Yep.
I think Edwards is
Just get through it, or do you want to see something from him?
I think get through it personally. Like Teddy couldn't have done all that much, and from what I've heard, he's still leaning towards Edwards. So
Yeah.
I think that's
fair.
how it'll play out. Take me out to the Sting. Who are we talking?
On the wingers, obviously you got to have Brian To'o there. His stats speak for themselves, so I won't go too into it. But one player I think who is really pushing for an origin spot is Jacob Kiraz for the Bulldogs. 3 tries, obviously that hat trick, 4 try assists as well, 5 line break involvements, 4 offloads per game, which you don't really see from a winger, 6 tackle breaks as well. He's an absolute rugby league handful to deal with for the Blues. Obviously, Zach Lomax coming back from injury. He is the previous winger for the Blues. I don't know if there'll be enough time for him to prove whether he will play in that, but he's also got some great stats. Obviously, played centre wing or whatever weird position Jason Riles was playing him in, but he does have less run meters than Jacob Kiraz. Only hit 200 meters in 1 of his 5 games so far this season. Kiraz has done that in 2 of his 4 games coming back from injury. So I think in terms of just getting out of play and just that second phase football, getting that offload away, you see it works for the Dogs and how they can create attacking opportunities off the back of that. I feel like Kiraz might be a shot there and also good under the high ball as well.
I think the one thing that helps Zach Lomax, I'm assuming the halves will be Cleary and Moses.
Yeah.
Which brings the problem of they're both right side halves. Personally, I would lean towards having Nathan the right because then he can defend with Liam Martin and he'd also defend with Stephen Crichton. And I'd be putting Brian To'o on that wing personally for that combination. And I think if you pick Mitch Moses, I reckon he'll play left side. And that does make me think if Lomax can just come back and have 2 games and be fit, I do wonder if you do just pick Lomax to have him on that wing with Mitch Moses.
But does Fox come into that situation where you pick a genuine left winger and something that he has been doing really, and we saw that Magic round, Moses, that cutout pass, perfect for the Fox. Is that an option? Because Zach, as we know, with Jacob, both right wingers.
I think the incredibly tall elephant in the room is Tom Trbojevic.
Yeah.
Which they have to find a spot for him somewhere.
Yeah.
I think we're all talking Kiraz and Lomax. You're not going to pick Turbo.
Yeah.
We'll get to the centres soon, but my 2 centres are locked in. So Turbo's the one you have to find a spot for in there somewhere, and I do wonder if he will actually snag that last wing spot.
Be very interesting. Very interesting. But you got to have Turbo in there at some point.
Yeah. And I do wonder if Turbo is also the guy we forgot about in the fullback conversation. I think Edwards is still the guy.
Absolutely.
But it wouldn't shock me if Turbo's arguably unfairly ahead of Teddy. That wouldn't surprise me.
It's
just because it's a
tough
back to
one.
the future kind of thing. You're sort of going backwards to bring like if Teddy's in the side, that means I assume we're going to dump the current captain to bring in the former captain and have someone else's captain.
Yeah.
Optics aren't great there, in my opinion. So Turbo, he'll be one of those spots. Where it is, we'll have to wait and see, but you couldn't possibly leave him out. Centres,
and that's where I'll start. Tom Trbojevic. I think whether he goes right, whether he goes left, he has been too good to not have there. Statistically, at fullback, still Dylan Edwards and James Tedesco have been performing better than him. Of course, Teddy Turbo with half a game against Para not helping with the stats, but still unbelievable. 5 try involvements in 4 games, 8 line break involvements in those 4 games too. You just got to have him in that side. For the other centre position, I think it's wide open. if you don't know already and you're a Bulldogs fan, you think Stephen Crichton is the GOAT and will forever always will be, not a big stats guy. Not a big stats guy. So that's why he's there. I appreciate him. He'll probably be the right centre. But from a stats perspective, we're looking at a player like Bradman Best, who he's been really good for the Knights outside of obviously the attacking form. When he has ball in hand, he's had 5 try involvements in 8 games, 9 line break involvements in 8 games as well, really setting up Greg Marzu there on that edge. 5 tackle breaks per game and averages 2 offloads. He's been pretty inefficient with his tackling, 82%. But to be honest, I think that him obviously playing left centre and had that amazing try at Suncorp in game 3, he is possibly the best statistical centre to put in there.
So just to be clear, you think Stephen Crichton
100% shits in.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, you think he is shit.
He is shit? No, yes. Shits in. I think we're getting mixed up.
We're getting mixed up.
We're getting mixed up. Stephen Crichton, great. I think he's the best player.
He's a moments guy, not a stats guy.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, last week against the Titans, he was a stats guy. Absolutely brained it, but usually struggling. And in defence this season, that right edge for the Dogs has been their weakest big time.
It hasn't been as good as what people are carrying on with, that right edge.
100%.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Now, did I black out for a second there? Did the name Trell Mitt come up at any point?
No, didn't have Trell Mitt
stats are
there.
hard at the
Stats
moment.
are really hard, 5'8", fullback, bouncing in between there. But I'm not too sure. What's your honest opinion? Do you think he gets a look in? I don't think he's really done much this season.
Does he get a look?
Does he get a look in?
Gets a jersey with
You reckon?
Mitchell tattooed on the back.
Really?
He's a juggernaut, mate. He loves big moments. He's always, I think you just have to pick him personally.
Yep.
I think he's got a bit of shit in him. That's what you want.
So would you let go of Crichton is what you're saying?
No, I would be picking Latrell at left, Critter at right.
Turbo Sting.
Turbo's probably on the wing for me. I feel really bad for Lomax.
Yeah.
I feel bad for Kiraz too. But I also think if Lomax and Kiraz are both available, I think there's something in just picking the guy who's dominated before.
Yeah.
Not saying Kiraz can't, but I think you have to just go with the guy who's done the job previously. But you can't leave Turbo out of the side.
Yeah. Would you have Turbo roaming? If you have him at wing, I just feel like he's just so wasted on the Sting. He's not a huge kick return guy.
Yep.
He can find some gaps, yes, but he is so more efficient when he's swinging out the back of that good ball. Would you throw him on the right side, get him to roam around?
100%. And that's why I'd play him on the right wing. I don't think you want to play him on the left wing and leave Latrell out there on his own. You leave Toto with Trell, in my opinion, and you put Turbo on the right.
Yeah.
And let Critter just control that edge when he's not there. I think that's the one thing that worries me, especially in Origin football, how fast it happens that if he's roaming and you do get a quick turnover, you've got enough talented players to get at a spot like that if a guy's out of position. So that's the one thing I have concern with. But the attacking upside is too much not to let Turbo roam.
Fair enough. So Trell definitely should tattooed on his back.
100%.
Definitely.
I think he has. Do you push back?
I push back. I know what you're saying. Trell in New South Wales jersey is a scary sight for any Queensland fan. But he just hasn't done enough this season. Obviously, not looking back in previous ones, he looks fit as fuck.
Yep.
Give him that, but I just don't know if Laurie takes a gamble on him.
I don't think it's a gamble, personally. I think
Fair enough.
Yeah, I think I understand where you're coming from. And you know what? Probably with almost anyone else, I could hear it. Trell, mate, I just think he's also one of those guys that if you're running out with Latrell on your side, I think he just lifts you.
Yeah.
I think he's just got that intimidation factor. He's got that, what GI had, what Mal had, and you need those big bodies in Origin to really dominate. And I think the unlucky guy is Bradman Best.
Yep.
Hasn't had many opportunities, but fuck, he's taken every single one he's been given.
Absolutely.
But yeah, if I have the opportunity to pick Latrell,
you're taking him.
I can't leave him out.
Fair
Especially
enough.
like if we're talking about him playing fullback, I lean into what you say.
Yeah.
Playing centre, I think
he's
you
a
can
different
deal
beast.
with it.
Yeah.
Especially when you've got like these other guys that do a lot of work. And I think as well when he plays centre, I don't think he hides away from the work as well.
No, not at all.
I think it's evident when he plays fullback.
Yep.
Centre I'm sort of okay with.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that he's definitely not a look-in completely for the whole series. I'm kind of saying maybe game one, it might be pushing a bit with the amount of game time he's had so far this season. So, but if he could easily come in game 2, game 3, regardless of the results, if an injury happens, I reckon he's probably next up.
How many games will he have before Origin 1 for South Sydney? He's back this week, so what, 2 or 3?
2, yeah, 2 or 3.
Definitely 2, maybe 3. Yeah, I reckon it'll be fuck, mate. If I'm Daly, I don't know
pick him.
if push came to shove if I could not pick him.
Yeah, that is fair.
Put it this way: if they don't pick him, I think Queensland go sweet. We're okay with that.
I'm scared shitless of
boogeyman's
whoever
gone.
else.
Yeah. Halves.
Halves.
Talk to me.
This one's a real interesting one. Obviously, plenty of halves chat. Jerome Luai, another player like Stephen Crichton, not a big stats guy, doesn't put up the main stats. So I'm going to share who has been really pushing himself as a statistical one. And you've mentioned him a lot throughout the podcast. Isaiah Katoa, 21 years old. Quite unbelievable what he's been doing for the Dolphins, and you don't hear about it because it's been happening in Queensland, and New South Wales don't want anything to do with anything going on in Queensland, as you've just already pointed out.
Oh, yeah.
But 1.1 try involvements per game. That's 10 try involvements in 9 games, 8 line break involvements. His kicking game has been absolutely unreal as well, averaging 428 kick meters. He's had 3 forced dropouts, really applying the pressure there on he's definitely not going to get a look in, probably not going to be talked about, but just someone to keep an eye on because his stats have been incredible.
I will throttle someone at New South Wales Rugby League if he isn't in the squad at some point.
Yeah.
He has to be on an extended squad. Just give him a little taste of it. I think give him a taste for one game for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
Just build him up to that moment because, in my opinion, it's a matter of time.
100%. And he's really earned it in this season as well. For me, though, putting Katoa aside, Mitch Moses is your next best option here statistically, averaging 2 try involvements per game, 2 line break involvements per game. I know he's only played 2 games, but he's just hit the ground running from the get-go. His kicking game has been great as well, averaging the same kick meters as Isaiah Katoa. In fact, they're bloody identical. 13 kicks per game, 427 meters per game, demanding the ball, 60 receipts. That's 11 more than Luai averages a game. So always wanting the ball in hand there. And obviously, as you mentioned, I just can't see them looking past it. It's a shit go for Luai because he's been there and done that. Do you think Mitch Moses definitely gets that 5'8" spot?
He'd be my halfback.
Yep. He'd be
my
halfback. Yeah.
I'd go with him at 7. I'd go with Nath at 6.
Nath at 6.
I think Luai is incredibly unlucky, but I do think there was always a chance of this happening going to the Tigers.
Yeah.
And he hasn't been poor by any means. If anything, he's done exactly what he should have done.
Yeah.
Not be the hero,
Yeah.
be the guy, get W's on the board. Wish he's done that. I feel really sorry for him because I don't think we win last year without Jerome.
Yeah.
Just that moment where he grabbed DC on the sideline, just went, fuck you. we're here. I love that shit. The stuff out the front of the Caxton, just mad from Jerome.
Yeah.
Some people don't like it. I love it personally. The bloke wins. There's an art to winning.
Do you think there's a 14 jersey with his name on it or not at all?
No. You got to pick one of Luai. You got to pick 2 of Luai, Mitch, or Nath.
Yep.
The other one misses.
Okay.
Simple as that, in my opinion. And fuck, you're going to leave Connor Watson out?
Yeah.
He genuinely might be the best utility we've ever seen.
Yeah.
As far as the
100%.
amount of spots he can cover and the high click he can cover all the mat. I would have Mitch as my 7. I'd have Nath as my 6. What do the stats say about the 7 jersey?
7 jersey, Nathan Cleary. It's either or, Mitch Moses, Nathan Cleary, you can put them in. They're both right halves, but you just got to go with what Nathan's been doing. Nico, shout out to him. 1.2 try involvements per game, 1.6 line break involvements as well.
Should play lock, shouldn't be in the team.
Shouldn't
Fuck
be in the
off.
team. I know,
Jesus
it's
Christ.
literally crazy.
So stupid.
15 line break involvements in 9 games this season, not getting looked at. When you look at Nathan Cleary, 5 line break involvements in 8 games, 7 try involvements in 8 games, less than 1 per game. Definitely doesn't get his flowers at all, but Nath's kicking game has just elevated him to the next level. 8 forced dropouts in 8 games, 488 kick meters per game. If Nath does come at 7 and Mitch there, obviously you got 2 kick threats. Do you reckon one will dominate, or do you reckon they'll alternate throughout the game?
I think they'll just alternate. I think it'll be game situation wherever they land, what the plan is. Any stats around how many games Nathan Cleary's won this year?
He has won, I think they've all 3, or the 3 games that they've won.
He's been in?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I think you've got to pick those 2.
Yeah.
For me, it's about what Mitch did last year.
Yeah.
He was the halfback that led that side. I love Nath. I think he's going to be an immortal. Hasn't done that yet. Mm-hmm. Origin is about winning, not building careers.
Yeah.
I think you have to go with Mitch. If he doesn't fire in game 1, move Nath there 100%.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, the halfback jersey is Mitch Moses right now. And we saw in the 2023 grand final, Nath sort of moved to 5'8" outside Jack Cogger, and it's arguably the best 20 minutes by footballer we've ever seen.
Yeah.
So Yeah, I'd go with Mitch, but as long as they're both there, I can be happy either way.
Absolutely. And as you mentioned, he can play left. Well, he was basically popping up on the left for that 2023 final series, and obviously he scored basically the same try against the Broncos last week. So,
yeah.
fuck. Oh, when I saw it, crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Isn't it wild? Like when that moment happened, everyone in the country thought the exact same thing.
Literally.
Like you just got the flashback immediately.
100%. I had when I was in the crowd, the people in front of me, they had a shirt with the moment.
Oh, no way.
Literally the photo of the moment on their shirt saying, we may be going shit, but just remember that this happened. And then right in front of us, he does it again. It was poetic.
I love that.
Poetic.
All right.
Dribbly shirts, by the way. I wish they resold them.
Let's get into the big boys, the pack. Where do you want to start?
Do I even bother naming the props? Or
I imagine who they'll be.
Payne Haas,
and Nathan Dirk.
Yo, what? Really? Tell you what, haven't seen his stats. Only at the Caxton. Over 20 carries per day, I think you had.
Yeah, something like that.
You can look through the stats themselves, but these two have been absolutely unbelievable. Terrell May, we just keep talking about how he just keeps putting in these performances, averaging 73 minutes per game, 180 metres per game as well. Just been absolutely outrageous. Then you look at Payne Haas. He's had he averages 10 less minutes, but averages more metres per game, more post-contact metres per game. It's just absolutely crazy. These two have been standouts for the prop section. Other players that you could look at here, and I'll name a couple on the bench, but full shout out to Toby Couchman and Max King. I think they have been very good this season, and would it shock you if they show up in the reserves list as well for the Blues throughout the series?
Couchman has to be there at some point. Who was the other name you just said?
Max King.
Yeah, Max King as well, yeah. Father of Hercules.
Father of Hercules.
Mm.
Great name.
Couchman, I'm a big fan of. I think I would 100% bring him in there somewhere. Katoa, Couchman. I know he's suspended, but actually maybe while he is suspended, it's probably the perfect opportunity to bring Jacob Preston in as well.
Yeah,
for game
absolutely.
one, maybe.
It's crazy. 43 tackles made per game. Most of them probably off the bench as well, which has been crazy. Max King averaging 151 metres per game, 64 post-contact metres, which is more than Terrell May as well. So he has had a ripper season too. So I wanted to shout out those men.
You know what I love about Max King too? Like if you're Payne Haas, for example, right? Like, you're the alpha front rower in that team, 100%. But like, they've also got Paddy Carrigan to deal with. Max King's running out with Saluka fucking Fafita at the moment. Like, they know Max King is the big dog. You go out and you whack him, and they go at him all game, and he still manages to get through a lot of work. Like, when he's got Leo Thompson there next to him, and he isn't just the guy getting belted every week, I'm so excited for Canterbury next year.
Absolutely. He's just unbelievable. His offload game as well as just adds another element to it. We talk about the Bulldogs offloading game. You had Jacob Carraz earlier, but Max King as well. It's just quite incredible. And
King also, I said this on the show the other day, the ultimate compliment to Cam Serraldo. He was in the Melbourne system. Bellamy got fuck all out of him.
Yeah.
Arrives at Canterbury, and now we're talking Origin for him.
Did you hear the story about Cam Serraldo and Max King?
No, talk to me.
Cam Serraldo had a burner account, and he was just messaging
Was
Max
that
King.
true?
Apparently that was true.
Fuck yeah.
Burner account, just messaging him saying, still hasn't scored a try yet, every time.
No way.
And then Max King goes over.
I love that. He was playing me in draft that
He
week
was.
too, so fuck you.
Of course he was.
Yeah. Nice little 120 points. That's mad. Any Mitch Barnett? Anything to talk about there?
Absolutely. I was going to throw him on the bench chat, but he's definitely got my bench spot here, averaging 35 tackles per game, 133 metres as well. It's not the Mitch Barnett we saw last season, averaging a little bit less minutes, only 55 per game, but 14 runs per game, 133 metres. He's always pushing above that 100. In fact, he's gone over 107 out of his 8 games this season. Not too many line break or try attacking stats that go with his name, so it doesn't bump his rating too high, but he is definitely going to be on the radar and definitely on my bench for this game.
A lot of wins in a team, missing a lot of players, though.
Yeah.
It says a lot about Mitch Barnett. Now, as far as other front rowers that might be from the Roosters that might rhyme with Spencer Spinu, would you rather talk about him later or now?
I'm happy to talk about them now.
Okay.
Maybe we just go with the bench after. We're just doing this on the fly, guys, if you haven't noticed.
Yeah.
Obviously, coming off the bench, averaging 43 minutes per game, you're not going to get too much. You've got the other players that I mentioned who go over 50 minutes per game. Obviously, Spencer Leno is an impact player. doesn't crash over 100 metres each game, so he's not really popping up on the stats. That's why I didn't meet him. But when he comes on, I mean, I think it was the 2022 grand final, the 2023 grand final when he came off the bench. That sort of impact that you see, that stats just can't really back up there. But yeah, definitely a player that obviously has respect of the experience and what he's done in the game, but just not a big statistical guy.
Yeah, very fair. Any other middles you want? Oh, I mean, I don't think he'll be there, but the skipper, Jake Travojevic, has there been... He is
an awful stats person. I think he has one tackle break in the last 3 seasons.
He was mad.
Yeah.
Start of his career,
Crazy.
Stats were his bread and butter.
Supercoach gun.
Yes.
Supercoach gun.
And then I don't know what happened. I think Des Hasler happened. But anyway, he hasn't recovered since Desi left. So I don't know. But any other front rowers you want to mention?
No, those are the main ones there. Junior Paulo, Josh King's been doing really good stuff as well for Melbourne. But the five I mentioned, and obviously Spencer as well, the ones ahead.
Yeah, sweet. All right, edge back rowers. The guys that won it last year, Liam Martin and Angus Crichton. Should we start with them, mate?
Absolutely. I don't have them in my statistical team, but obviously you can't go past the Wally Lewis medal winner, Angus Crichton, Liam Martin as well. He's actually been pretty down on his stats. He's not usually a statistical guy, but even his stats this season, 8 runs per game. We're looking at the other back rowers that I mentioned, compared to Angus Crichton at least. 15 runs per game for him, and he only averages 6 less minutes. I've noticed he's been coming off pretty early in recent matches as well. I'm not too sure if that's injury or anything that you've heard, but something really interesting about that. He hasn't run for over 100 metres in a game this season. He has been making 31 tackles per game, but interesting that he just isn't getting much ball. 11 receipts per game this season, which is really interesting for Liam Martin. Angus Crichton, I haven't got him in my starting team, but I definitely do have him on the bench. He's starting to come good too. 30 tackles per game, averages 3 tackle breaks, 4 line breaks in 8 games too. So not too bad attacking stats for a second rower. But the two main guys here that I like is Hudson Young. I think he has been absolutely unbelievable. 7 try involvements in 9 games, 4 tackle breaks per game, 31 tackles as well. He's run for 20 or more carries in 3 of his 9 games, which is a huge amount for a back rower as well. So I think he might steal Angus Crichton's starting left second row spot. What are your thoughts on that?
You reckon he's going to steal it off him?
Potentially. I just think he's just been... His form this season has been incredible. Laurie Daly, former Raider himself, might reward the Canberra player.
Yeah, I don't hate it, to be honest with you. I think the best thing about Angus is as well that he can play as a middle.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting what you said about Liam Martin. Hasn't finished the game in the last few weeks. I think there's every chance he only plays 55, 60 minutes in this game. I think that with the front rowers they've got to choose on, they can all play big minutes. I think you will see a bit of rotation of the edges. But Hudson Young, I'm okay if you go with him or Angus.
Yeah.
This year, Hudson's been the better back rower. Who's the better back rower overall? I think it's Angus.
Yeah.
But which of them would you rather play through the middle? It's also Angus.
Yeah.
So I just wonder if for the balance of the team, the best thing is Hudson Young on the left, Angus off the bench. I think the stats might be saying something.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what they'll do.
Yeah.
But I can hear it.
Do you think Hudson doesn't know how to make that impact off the bench? Because he's always started through his Raiders career. We saw when he came off the bench in Origin in his first game, obviously was dropped the next game, didn't have much impact. Do you think that he just gets up for games that he knows he's starting and it's just how he performs and he's just not as impactful off the bench compared to what Angus, as you mentioned, he can fill in the middle. He can also be that power off the bench himself. Do you think it's just that mentality?
I think so. I think Hudson's just one of those 80-minute guys you just leave out there. And I think with Hudson as well, like we joke about it on About Even, but in all seriousness, him last try scorer, I reckon he'd have the best strike rate of any forward to play the game.
Crazy.
It's insane. He does it like every 6 or 7 weeks. It's fucked. I think he's one of those guys that just gets better as the game goes on. And I think people sort of go, you jump on the bench, you just rip in. It's not really that simple.
Yeah.
It's not that simple in Origin as well. I don't think Hudson's been given the right opportunities to excel. This year he has. Angus has been good, but he hasn't been anywhere near what he was last year. Like Hudson is playing like Angus was last year. So I want Hudson in my team somewhere.
Yeah.
People keep telling me he's come off the bench, didn't work, he's not an Origin player. Fuck that. Open your eyes. He's an Origin player.
Yeah.
He's an Origin player without a doubt, and he will be into the future. I'd be giving him a shot on the left edge.
Yep.
I think I'm starting to lean towards it.
Yeah.
Angus off the bench.
I think it's be better. I reckon Angus can handle coming off the bench a lot better than Hudson. So hopefully we get that. On my right second row, Hamoli Olakau'atu, I think his stats have been absolutely incredible, averaging 150 metres per game, similar to that of Hudson Young. They're the two top second row running back rowers at the moment in the competition. 7 line break involvements in 8 games, and we've seen how Manly use him so bloody well as that. He's starting to be that link guy where he's throwing the passes, creating doubt into the players' minds. If he comes up against Val Holmes or Hammer on that left centre position, I just don't think they'll be able to handle him or know what to do with him. So I think Hamoli at right second row, 6 tackle breaks per game. You don't know what he's going to do. He did the job for New South Wales coming off the bench. He was left as a reserve in game 3, but I think Laurie has to play him, and that's why I kind of lean to him. Either start Liam Martin and a great rotation into Olakau'atu when the defences are feeling fatigued, but I really like Hamole.
I can't leave Liam Martin out.
Yeah, I know
Can't
you
do
can't.
it.
I'm not
No
making
fucking
you.
way. Yeah. You're all about stats. I think Liam Martin's one of the worst portrayed players of all time when it comes to stats. It's one thing we've been saying on this podcast for years, which was so good when he won the Clive. If you don't get Liam Martin, you don't get rugby league. Simple as that. The bloke's an absolute dog. It's the things you can't measure on the stat sheet that he does so well. Go and watch the grand final again for that. Go watch Origin last year again for that. I have to pick him. Obviously, he's not playing those huge minutes, but he was only playing 70 minutes last year as well. So I think you pick him on the right edge and you go with an Olakau'atu coming off there. Would have been interesting if Jacob Preston was available.
Absolutely. He would have been above Hamole as well in that
Yes.
sense. He's been brilliant.
Now, the one last name I want to mention.
Yep.
Newcastle Knights. Dill Lucas. I think he would be the perfect jersey 17 in that he can cover so many spots. Granted, we've already got Connor Watson. The argument is, do we need that? Maybe we don't. But even take out his versatility, he has just been killing it this year. He looks, in a shit side, he looks amazing. Got a bit of prick about him. Versatile. He ticks a lot of boxes for me, Dill Lucas. He's another guy that I'm getting into a squad at one point. I think I'm up to 35 squad members at the moment, but I'd be finding a spot for him in the squad. And geez, if an Olakau'atu or a Liam Martin or an Angus was to get injured in the next few weeks, I would have full confidence picking Dylan Lucas on my bench.
100%. And statistically, he found a way into my 17. He was jersey number 15, jersey number 17.
Yeah.
I think he's been playing unreal. Obviously, mentioned about even. He's had a try or line break involvement in 3 of his 4 games so far this season. He's been making 43 tackles per game on that edge. Newcastle have just been throwing possession away. That's probably why his numbers are inflated in tackles, but 91% efficiency, 2 tackle breaks per game. Doesn't have an offload game, but you don't need that. He just charges at it a bit like Liam Martin in that sense, averaging 132 metres per game as well. I think he is a smoky, probably my favourite smoky outside of Jacob Carraz to possibly grab that New South Wales jersey. But as I mentioned, that's just ignoring Liam Martin statistically. I still think Liam Martin probably gets it, but Dylan Lucas, if he's not 18th man, then I'd be shocked.
Read it out to me like 1 to 6. What do the stats say should be in the order of those second rowers?
Hudson Young 1,
Yep.
Dylan Lucas 2, Jacob Preston 3, Hamoli 4, Crichton 5, Martin 6.
Man, I really hate that Jacob Preston challenged that last night.
Yeah.
I think it's really dumb.
3 weeks, so you may as well get another week if you're not
Hasn't
going
it now-
to. You probably won't
Did
miss.
it rule him out of Origin anyway, the 3 weeks?
Yeah, the 3 weeks would have ruled him out of Origin, so he thought, honestly, I
For
know
the
we said-
record,
yeah.
I don't think he should be out for weeks.
Yeah.
But no one wins at the judiciary anymore.
No, exactly.
The NRL is
100%.
so hell-bent on safety now, they're going to have to document in 40 years' time, hey, we went fucking hard on this shit.
Yeah.
We did everything we could. It's dumb to challenge it, in my opinion.
100%.
It's
100%.
just the reality of it.
Yeah.
Lock forwards.
Lock forwards to finish. I think you got to go with the 4-time premiership winner Isaiah Yeo. I think he is an absolute lock. What he does not only for the Panthers, but what he does to Nathan Cleary, being that link play out the back, just keeps that flow for Panthers. And he's been putting up insane stats as well outside of it. He averages a line, 0.3 line break involvements in 9 games. He's had 34 receipts of the ball, so he loves getting in his hand. Mate, he's even shown that he has a kicking game. Put a kick through, hit a post, scored a try there for, I think, Nathan Cleary. He's just the man you go for. If not him, Cameron McInnes has been putting up his hand in that spot as well. He's played 20 less minutes per game. Not an 80-minute footballer, McInnes, but very few 80-minute footballers in Origin in the middle anyway. But he's just been getting through his work, tackling machine. Same amount of tackles per game as Isaiah Yeo. Better efficiency though. So McInnes, beauty of him, if you do play him 14, is that he plays that hooker role. But of course, Connor Watson, we'll get to him in just a minute. I don't think he gets that spot.
My question on Isaiah Yeo, and I think it is something that's sort of forgotten about in the series last year, he didn't start a game at lock.
He didn't.
Came off the bench, played as a middle forward. We went Cam McInnes, we then went Cam Murray. If Cam Murray's available, he's my 13 every day of the week.
Yep.
It changes it a little bit now. Are you confident picking Isaiah Yeo in the jersey 13? And if so, do you let him play his natural game, or do you sort of just use him as another middle forward instead of a link man per se?
I think it's just how Laurie Daly wants to use him with Nath there.
Yes.
Obviously, Nath wasn't there for most of those games. That's
Very
why
fair.
he came off the bench. And obviously, Jake Trebojevic, we talked about how one-dimensional his game. It's just carry, carry, carry. So I think with Yeo there and Cleary now at halfback, I think what Yeo does to Cleary, just unlocking his game, I think that's going to be huge for this series. And the only reason I can see why, going back to your point, is just that he wasn't there in those games and he just didn't make sense to Moses during those Origin games. So that's why I do see Yeo being that lock.
Any other lock forwards that pop their head up in this chat?
Those were the main ones that I had there for that one. Yeah.
Actually thinking off the dome, there's no one else that really,
Not really.
comes to mind with Cam Murray out. Okay, now, bench, jersey 14, utility. I think the hot pirate picks himself here. Is there anyone else? I mean, you've obviously got one of the halves you don't pick, but...
Yeah, I don't know. I'll throw out another one, and this is just not me being a Cowboys man, but Scotty Drinkwater potentially as a 14 if you really want to unlock your attack. I mean, if you've seen any of the Cowboys games or ridden any of the Cowboys games,
Have
like
they
I
been
have.
playing, have they?
Yeah, they have. Yeah, I don't know.
They should put them on TV sometime.
Yeah, and I think you were watching it with intrigue
I
yes, on
was.
Saturday, praying for their downfall. But they are a massive second half team, and that's why I think Scotty Drinkwater potentially unlocking him in that second half. He's got all the try involvements. I think he was second on the try assist list last season as well. Can really damage tiring defenders. But as mentioned, Connor Watson probably, if he doesn't get the hooker role, if Reece Robson gets the hooker role, then Connor Watson has to be that 14 for the reasons you mentioned. He can jump in at half, he can jump into centre, he can be absolutely everything. He can be whatever Damien Cook was for Laurie a couple of years, or for Freddie, sorry, a couple of years back. So, yeah.
Burton's the other one returning this week that I'd consider, but I can't go past Connor Watson.
No.
No way.
No.
Good on you for slipping in the Scott Drinkwater there.
Tried my best. I had to put in one Cowboy.
You got to make tackles in Origin. That's the only thing.
How long we got, Kat?
I can cut it whenever you want.
All right. We've sort of covered the bench, I guess, but is there anyone else you want to throw up or any other context there?
No, I think we talked about, I had on my original bench there, we hadn't talked about hookers yet. That's
Sorry,
what
we hadn't.
missed.
I always do that.
Yeah,
Good on
no,
that. Reece Robson, talk to me.
Reece Robson, love him. I mean, that's why I wouldn't have brought it up if I wasn't going to talk about Reece Robson. You should know that. He's been interesting this season, to be honest. He wasn't my first pick hooker. I would have had Connor Watson starting. I think his numbers have been a lot better. But in saying that, you can't go past the authentic hooker, Reece Robson, 45 tackles per game. He's just a tackling machine. I don't know if you watch the Rabbitohs game because you don't watch any Cowboys game, but what he can do out of dummy half, can make 100 metres out of dummy half and really soak up those tired Queensland middle forwards who we know usually are pretty inexperienced players outside of your Paddy Carrigans and Tinos. So I do like the Reece Robson option there. Another bloke as well, and I've been dropping a bunch of ex-Bears players' names. Don't know if you've been picking them up, but Max King was the first one. Next one, Wade Egan.
I like it.
Yeah, I think he has been flying under the radar, and another player you don't hear of because he plays for New Zealand, for the Warriors. It's across the shore. The Daily Telegraph don't pick up on it, but
Never.
45 tackles per game for him. He's had 2 line breaks, 1 line break assist, 2 try assists, and 2 tries. He's just been killing it. So he could potentially be there. I don't think so. I don't think it's his time. As we mentioned, I think Daly plays it safe. Reece Robson, Connor Watson. You could try and throw Damien Cook in there, but I think his time is up. For
I think his time's up. All really valid points in there. I think I found interesting. You said you would go with Connor Watson at 9.
Yes.
Okay.
I feel
Talk to
like
me. Why is that?
statistically, what he's been able to do in terms of try involvements compared to Reece Robson, they both played 8 games. Connor Watson, 6 try involvements. Reece Robson, 2. 5 line break involvements for Connor Watson, Reece Robson, 2. So just more electric in attack, averaging 2 tackle breaks per game to Reece Robson, 1. Less tackles. That's the kind of the only hit on him, but less errors as well for Connor Watson, and just averages, obviously, playing between lock and hooker, obviously more receipts, but yeah.
Yeah, see, and this is what you got to realise with Rando. Reece Robson is leaving, so now he's throwing him under the bus to get
fuck
Drinkwater
off.
into the team.
Yeah,
and
that's
I
it.
can see straight through this bullshit from you. If you were to go Watson at 9, would you have Drinky at 14, or how would you do it?
I originally had McInnes at 14 as that potential backup, but you know, if you want to put Drinkwater in there, I wouldn't say no. We got to have one Cowboy in the Blues team, don't we?
Wow, no Reece Robson. Huge.
I just don't think, and this is not me kicking the can down the road because he's going to the Roosters. I just think that his numbers this season haven't been as good as they were last season. I think Connor Watson, he's been the informed New South Wales Welshman hooker so far in this competition. As I mentioned, with those try and line break involvements, what he can do in attack, I just feel he's been doing a little bit more than Reece Robson. This is also a kick up the arse for Reece Robson to do well if he watches this.
That's very fair, yeah. My argument against that would be that I don't think you're picking a hooker for attacking stats in this side.
Yeah.
With Nathan Mitch, I think they'll stick to a very similar game plan they did with Reece last year, where he just tackles his dick off and comes up with those desperation moments. I think they just want the hooker who can defend the best and provide the best service over a long period of time.
Great point.
Appy was the name that didn't come up.
Appy, not many Appy stats, to be honest with him. So
Be honest with him always.
yeah, always honest. So yeah, he didn't really blimp up at all in terms of any rating. So yeah, it's been tough. Obviously, sharing that role with Talon Silva, less minutes, I think, has definitely hurt his statistical output. But do you realistically see him in any picture in a 20 at all? Or?
No, I don't, to be honest with you, no. In saying that, if we had bulk injuries this weekend, we had to turn to Appy, I'd feel okay.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
I don't think he can be ahead of those other guys, yeah.
But how many injuries do you think he's behind?
Probably a few. Yeah,
Do you reckon Wade would get a start before Appy?
Form-wise, he probably deserves it, but I just like that Appy's been there and done it before.
I think Laurie would like that too. He wants the first win early.
Blake Brayley's name pop up anywhere.
He was pretty decent, Blake Brayley. Definitely up there for the try involvements and stuff like that. But once again, not too bad, actually. Not too bad at all. Tackling machine, of course. 4 try involvements, 3 line break involvements in 9 games each. He touches the ball more than any other player in the competition at the moment, 135 touches per game. So he loves to control it. 45 tackles per game as well at a 91%. He'll get the job done. And as to your point about just providing service to Nathan and Mitch Moses, he's probably your perfect guy because 2 errors when you're touching the ball 135 times per game, and he's only made 2 errors full time. That's crazy.
I think it's also 2 in the last 6 years by my count.
Crazy stuff.
The last guy I want to ask you about Hooker, and he's not in the frame in any way, shape, or form, but I think he's performed really well this year. Did Tom Starling rank at all on your list?
He's been going all right. I've got him probably around just below Blake Brayley, but above Appy Coruscant. I think he's been doing not too bad. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. 62 minutes, 5 runs per game. He's got 3 line break involvements in 9 games, making his tackles as well. Hit on him is he has a bit of penalties and ruck infringements up his sleeve. Yeah. But other than that, he's not the worst option, and we've just got him ahead.
Last one, I promise.
Last one, geez.
But the other one that I think's done really well this year, who has surprised me, to be honest with you, is Pete Mamazellus.
Yeah.
Once again, not in the conversation, not even close, but where does he rank on your criteria? Is he in the ballpark or?
Yeah, absolutely. He's one below. Who did we just touch on? Tom Starling. Yeah, absolutely. More try involvements than Tom Starling, more line break involvements as well. 45 tackles per game too, so he gets into his work. Obviously plays more minutes, 78 minutes per game. He gets through that 80-minute thing, and that's, I think, what puts him ahead of, obviously, your Appies as well.
You mentioned Talon Silva. I'm fucking with you.
Anyone else?
Okay. Should we move to... I was almost at Benny Elias there.
What next? Billy Walters, Corey Pace.
Should we move to Queensland?
If you want to.
Yeah, I'm happy to do it. Sowie refused to fucking talk about it. So whilst I've got you here, let's do it.
Beautiful.
Fullback, Reece Walsh, 3 games last year. Wasn't his greatest 3 games. I assume KP will take the jersey. I imagine Jai Gray's stats are pretty fucking impressive, though.
Absolutely. I like Kalen Ponga to take the jersey, but Jai Gray is right below him. They're almost on the exact same statistical rating. Jai Gray, 9 games, 6 try involvements. KP has 6 try involvements in 8 games. KP just beats him on line break involvements, 11 this season, 1.3 per game. So he's always trying to start stuff. For the Knights, he's wherever they make any sort of attacking stat, it's Kalen Ponga who does that. So really don't mind Tim. But what I really like about Kalen Ponga that I don't think people are talking about much, 6 forced dropouts in 8 games as well. Just really applying the pressure. I know forced dropouts is a stat losing momentum because of all the fucking short dropouts, but his kicking game and applying pressure or trying to apply pressure on the opposition, I think, just puts him ahead. So I think Kalen Ponga definitely gets that jersey. I know other people have mentioned Hammer. I think there's been a wild throw that Cam Munster goes at fullback too. I just don't think you can get past Kalen Ponga.
Yeah, I agree with you. As a New South Welshman, KP scares me the most.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
And he finds form. He just manages to find form just before Origin,
Always.
doesn't he?
Yeah,
Crazy.
I think he's done it again. Good little run over the next 2 weeks. I think he's going to set the world alight in the next 2 weeks. Let's move to the wingers. Guys like Coates comes to mind. Guys like Murray Taulagi comes to mind. What do your stats suggest?
I would suggest those two 100%. Those are my 2 wingers that I'm taking with me. Muzz has been incredible. 11 line breaks in 8 games.
Fuck, he's underrated.
He's been unbelievable. What they've been doing down that left edge is incredible. When you look on the other side, Xavier Coates, 9 try involvements in 8 games as well. That's 7 tries, 2 assists. And their run meters have been really good. Murray Taulagi averaging 170 run meters there. Another player who you probably won't talk about him too much, and he's he loves his stats, is Philip Sammy for the Gold Coast Titans.
Big statsman.
Big statsman indeed. 18 runs per game, 166 run meters. He has been involved in tries, 5 try involvements in 8 games, 5 line break involvements as well. Averages 3 tackle breaks per game. Loves to get his hand on the ball. 20 receipts too. He's a potential Smokey. I don't think he gets a look in. I think Coates, Taulagi are definitely the locks, but just another player who's been doing really well.
Where does Savage rank? Is he anywhere in the ballpark of these sort of guys?
I think if you go off his first couple of games, he was definitely in the ballpark, but since then he's kind of dropped off a fair bit. They've been really favouring Tamale's side of the field. So
can I also, after that, where did Tamale rank for wingers? Was he anywhere near it for New South Wales?
1 sec.
I just imagine his stats and what he comes up with every week. I reckon he'd be a lot higher than what people would probably expect because he is
100%.
breaking tackles at fucking will at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. He's definitely up there. He's had 11 line breaks in 9 games. He's just been 5 tackle breaks per game as well. You put him up there with some of the wingers that I mentioned, still behind To'o, Lomax, and Kiraz, but he's up there. He's 4th.
I'll
He's
tell you what
4th
makes
behind
that
them.
so impressive. You said 11 line breaks in 9 games. He's outside Ethan Strange, doesn't pass the fucking football.
Yeah.
He's outside Hudson Young, doesn't pass the football. He's outside Seb Chris, doesn't pass the football. It's a modern day miracle he sees the pill during the game.
100%.
And 11 line breaks in 9 games. That's
It's just an
wild.
excitement machine. I don't know what and obviously Sowie would probably tell us, I don't know what the Dragons were thinking when they let him go.
Anywho, back to Queensland. Any other wingers you want to touch on there?
Those were the main 2. We are really low on bloody fucking.
What about Cobbo?
Stops. He's been doing all right. I've been looking at him from a fullback lens. Honestly, the Broncos, similar story to the Raiders and Xavier Savage, to your point. They've just been hammering that left edge.
Yeah.
I'll bring up a player, bring up Shibasaki in just a second, but for Cobbo, just 5 line break involvements in 9 games, 7 try involvements in 9 games as well. We know him as an absolute try-scoring machine. 142 run meters too, from 15 carries per game. So he just hasn't been as exciting out the back. The big one, 13 errors in 9 games too. So has a bit of drop ball in him, which has not helped with his statistical rating.
All right, centres. And I think there's a few obvious ones here. I want to ask you about a young guy that I love.
Yep.
Rob Toyer. A lot of people wouldn't realise he's a Queenslander.
I didn't.
Yeah, came down. Rob Toyer came down, I want to say when he was 15 or 16. He was actually playing the same team as Josh. We used to drive him out to his games. Really, really good kid. I think he will play for Queensland one day. Where does he sit on your stat sheet?
So in comparison to the other centres that I've got here, he sits 5th on the rung, but still bloody good. He's above Jackson Purdue at the moment. Purdue. I can't just not say it without Eddie's fucking accent. He's been really good. 10 line break involvements this season in 9 games. Obviously, not many adding to tries, but 6 try involvements in those games as well. He's been averaging 110 metres from 12 carries and 3 tackle breaks per game on top of that. So outside of the try scoring stats, obviously a lot will see Purdue as a try scoring machine and probably put him higher, but Rob Toy has been doing behind the scenes, creating opportunities there. We saw what he did against the Dolphins. He's been really good, and that's why he kept his spot, and Dom Young had to go back to Newcastle basically.
Yes.
So yeah, he's been going really well, but not my top 2 centres for.
I'm very
for them.
surprised to hear Purdue isn't higher. That surprises me a little bit. I thought he'd been on fire this year. I'm going to assume Val Holmes at 1.
Val Holmes, 1. One of them, can't go past him. He's been great for the Dragons, doing the same stuff that he was doing for the Cowboys. 16 runs, 157 metres per game. 12 line break involvements in 8 games as well. That left edge has been humming for the Dragons. His solo try against the Tigers was quite incredible too. He's averaging 1.1 try involvements per game too. So killing it. Also great with the boot for the Queenslanders. Does continue to have a bit of errors in him, 12 errors in 8 games, but he's definitely my number 1 centre and my number 2 centre. No shock horror. It's probably one of the great Origin centres, one of the great Origin try-scoring centres of all time, Hamaso. Can't go past Hamaso there. I mentioned it before, could be a fullback look-in potentially, but I don't think they'll go down that path. 10 try involvements, 10 line break involvements in his 9 games this season. Slow start for Hammer, but really come alive in the last couple of games.
I'll tell you what, if you guys pick him, I think it's the end of Queensland. I was at Suncorp last week. He was cheering on the New South Wales women's.
Well,
he's a traitor. He's a traitor, mate. I think he's a New South Welshman.
What?
He's a New South Welshman.
No, he's
cheering
not.
on the wrong team.
No.
Cheering on the wrong team. You guys
know
can't,
exactly.
you can't possibly
you know
pick
well
him.
and truly why he was
cannot
cheering on the
pick
other
him.
team.
No way. Absolutely no way. Mate,
Love wins.
Thank you, Kate.
mate, I'm with Westpac. My wife, she works at Combank. I'm cheering on Westpac all the time. I would never double cross like that.
That's crazy.
You've got to support your team.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
He's a dog.
Wow.
I dare you to pick him. I dare you to pick him.
He'll score more tries than her in the Origin series.
He
I
probably
bet.
will, to be fair.
And more trophies too.
Yeah. I doubt that.
You said
But anyway.
Clip that. He said yes.
Where does Dane Gagai rate on the list?
He's a little bit lower. He's below Purdue and Rob Toyer. It's getting real bad. 16 runs, 138 metres. Now, last year he was averaging 164 metres per game. Only 2 try involvements. The right edge have really been catching a cold for Newcastle. That left edge has been setting it alight, so you can understand that. 13 errors in 8 games too for Dane Gagai. So, bit of liability in attack. That's why I've got him below there. Jack Howarth, another centre option that's underneath. But the one guy I was going to talk about was Shibasaki.
Yeah.
I mean, probably won't get a look
Goatee
in.
that was promised.
The goatee that was promised. Just him on that left edge for the Broncos. He's solidified his spot there. 141 metres per game. 6 try involvements in 9 games. 9 line break involvements, which is 1 per game for him. 4 tackle breaks per game. Just silently getting through his work there at left centre with a great bloody goatee as well. So I don't mind him as number 3 on the centres list there for Queensland. I reckon if an injury goes down, because do you reckon Dane Gagai's past his time for a call-up? Would you think they go someone new like Shibasaki? I mean, it feels like he's been in the NRL for 7 years, but he's only like 27 or something. Isn't he?
He's played like 30 games or something.
Yeah.
Mate, I think they'll go Val for sure.
Yep.
Hamiso will be the other centre.
Yep. One of those goes down. Who you picking
One of those
next?
goes down. I kind of think Purdue.
Really?
Yeah. Mate, I heard Billy Slater the other day. They were asking him, who's your top 3 players you'd build a team around if you were Perth? Purdue was one of the guys he said and gave him a huge rap. I reckon I wouldn't be shocked to see him make his Origin debut this year.
Would you see him?
Is he more of a smoky than I think he is? Like,
I think he's been doing great things.
Yeah.
You keep going like he just keeps scoring tries. He keeps being in attacking moments. You're waiting for the kid to calm down a bit, but he just keeps stepping up and being there and being present. What's really got me impressed is his defense.
Yes.
Like he's a 5'8" at heart. He's been able to adjust. I think that first game against Manly,
Yep.
he was up against it, against Hamole. I thought that him and Tom Duffy were the two that were going to be dropped
Yep.
after round 3. But he has come back and he's played some scintillating footy. His 0 to 100 is incredible. That speed, would you play him on the wing before centre in an Origin level? Up against Stephen Crichton and Latrell. Like imagine him up against, he won't be on the same side, but if he was, fucking hell.
yeah, it's probably a big ask.
Bench,
Mate,
maybe?
in saying that, the motherfucker, every week I look at him and go, I think you're too small.
Yeah.
But he just stands up every week. I know Latrell's a different
Yeah.
basket to deal with. Marking up against Critter, I think he could hold his own there.
Yeah.
Latrell might be a nudge too far.
Yeah.
But honestly, against Latrell, it's a challenge for everyone. Like, if I had to pick someone from the Queensland side to mark Latrell at centre, it's probably Beau Fermor.
Yeah,
I think he's genuinely probably the best option to be able to go with Latrell,
100%. Agreed.
which makes it very, very tough.
Yeah. It depends if Dane Gagai goes Queensland mode, he can also defend Latrell.
If he goes Queensland mode, yes.
Yeah.
Gives me PTSD. Let's move to the halves. We'll start with the 6 jersey. Mad Dog, how's he looking?
Not too bad. I don't mind Cameron Munster, but for me personally, I've got Tom Dearden slightly ahead of him at the moment.
Shock me.
Who would have thought a Queenslander doing that?
If you take out his one good game, how does he look on the stat sheet?
Oh, who? Munster?
Dearden. Hasn't had one.
To be honest, they're very close in comparison. Tom Dearden, 11 line break assists involvements compared to 8 for Cam Munster, but Cam Munster has him in try involvements. To be fair, lots of Munster's try assists have been off the boot, so that would be why the line break involvements would be down. Both averaging 3 tackle breaks per game, both similar run meters. The kicking game of Cam Munster just leads him ahead of that. Obviously, Jake Clifford usually takes the duties there for the Cowboys. The heart, I think Tom Dearden has a bit more heart than Cam Munster, and that's not any offence. That Tom Dearden bloke, no, that's just genuine. I think that Tom Dearden runs it a lot harder, a lot straighter. He's not afraid to put his hand up in attack and defence. I just think Tom Dearden will be statistically nudging ahead of him, but I think Cam Munster will probably get that 6th spot in the end.
That's what I hate about you Queenslanders. This is what he's trying to do, Kat. He's trying to get me to put content out there that'll get clicks of him saying Cam Munster has no ticker. So we get to Origin and he absolutely dry fucks us for 3 games. I know what you're doing.
Did it to Reece Robson?
Of course
doing
you
it to
did.
this.
I think Munster has to be the 6th. I think he's done enough in the game. But I think if they lose this series and he's not at his best, which in Origin he probably hasn't been for 2 or 3 years, Dearden he's not knocking at the door. He's kicking that fucking thing in.
How many years has Daly got at 7? Do you reckon it'll
4
be
years ago I said 1.
Yep.
3 years ago I said 1. 2 years ago I said 1. Now I'm thinking it might be 3. I've got no fucking idea. He's just not slowing down.
not slowing down at all?
And you
Crazy.
can't judge him on club footy because it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
Hasn't mattered for ages. He always performs. So I don't know. I think they're going to... What I think Queensland don't want to do is having to change both of them at the same time.
Yeah.
So I think they will push DCE or he'll walk in the next year or 2 and they'll bring Dearden in. So then once Munster's ready to go, there will be a Sam Walker, someone to come in. I don't think they want to lose them both at the same time.
Do you think Munster will, because he's 30 now?
31.
Yeah, 31. So his time is ticking too. Is Tom Dearden and Sam Walker, you reckon 5 years' time, that's the 2 Origin halves at this point?
I think so. Is there anyone I'm missing? Is there anyone else that we're...
I mean, if
Sleeping
Ezra
on?
Mam makes a comeback.
We'll deal with that when it happens. I'm not doing that at the moment.
No, I didn't want to either, but you just asked me to bring our name out.
Those 2. Is there anyone else? Don't think so.
No.
Yeah, I think those 2 are probably the best options
Yeah.
heading into the future. There really isn't anyone else, is there?
No, not playing first
Jamal
grade level.
Fogarty's doing
yeah.
well, but he's not your answer long term. I
Yeah.
think you will go with those boys. So, yeah, it's going to be an interest for you to watch how it plays out. If it's not Cam Munster, Tom Dearden, who's sort of next? Like, is AJ Brimson on the radar anyway?
I've got Jaden Campbell before him. Maybe that might be the answer.
Is he a
Potentially.
Queenslander?
I think he is, isn't he?
I don't know.
Pretty
is
sure he is, yeah.
He was born up there, was he?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was doing it. Zero tackle will tell me if he's not.
No, he is. You're right.
Yep. So, I think he potentially I don't even know why I just blanked on him just then when you were asking for the halves, but potentially he takes over.
Actually, he is he's been out with injury for a few weeks.
Yeah.
That's got Queensland written all over it.
12 runs, 105 run meters for him. He's 3 try involvements in 5 games. Same with the line break involvements, his tackle breaks. Just his elusiveness, I think he could possibly be a great 14 for Queensland if they need it, because he's an absolute rugby league handful. He can make his tackles as well. Where would you put him at all on the bench or anything like that, or no? No,
not for me. I think you've obviously got Ben Hunt you could go with, and potentially Swan Song. You have got Tom Dearden as well. Tom Dearden would be my 14.
Yeah,
is how I do it. I think you start to prepare him for the future, like you've done with all you guys before.
Yep, Daly.
I think it'll be him, and if it's not him, like you've even got a guy like Max Plath. We'll get to him soon. He's another option. Kurt Mann, who might be the best utility in rugby league, not named Connor Watson. So I just don't think Jaden Campbell fits into what you're doing.
Yep.
But Jesus, I'll tell you what, if you did pick him at 14 and I see him with 30 minutes come on the field and Billy Slater gives him a hug as he comes on, I'm shitting myself. Absolutely shitting myself.
Mate, I think he'd just be just around the tired forwards potentially. He could be very elusive.
Yeah.
Very elusive. Imagine what he can do in a 20-minute stint.
Halfback, DCE's obviously top dog. Can I ask you about Toby Sexton?
Yeah, you can. He was my second pick for halfback here. If Daly Cherry Evans goes down, we just mentioned it before, Tom Dearden obviously snaps up that 7 jersey for sure. Toby Sexton, it's just all in his kicking game. Brilliant, 422 metres per game, 8 forced dropouts. He can really be the yin to the yang of a Munster and Dearden who love to run the ball. Obviously setting up tries as well, 5 try assists in 8 games for the Doggies too. And defensively, 24 tackles made per game, which is pretty high. Anything over 20 for a half is very good. So I don't mind Toby Sexton as a potential halfback option.
Fogarty in third place?
Fogarty in third place. Once again, another kicking halfback who doesn't have too many big stats up against his name, but definitely would be in third.
Talk to me about Benny Hunt. Where does he sort of fit in on this list?
For Ben, he would be the third pick half here. He has been pretty quiet. 5 line break involvements. He's kind of been playing second fiddle to Adam Reynolds this season. Not big of a running game. You don't really need him for him being out of hooker. 19 tackles per game too. 5 forced dropouts. He's a great second fiddle player. Doesn't have all the stats backing this season as he did for the Dragons last year, but you can completely understand that with his role for the Broncos. So if he's not 14th man, then I don't know who is.
Last man that comes to mind for me when you're talking about halfbacks is Braden Trindle.
Trindle, tricky. Not actually as big statistical player as you would think he is. I've got him below. I think Fogarty's above him at the moment. He has got a great kicking game. His line break involvements and try involvements, 8 and 6 apiece there. I just don't have him too high up. I think he's still a long way away. He's potentially a successor in the future, but don't have him I'd be shocked if he made his way into the Queensland side or even in the 20 at this point. Not knocking him as a player, just don't think he's in the...
kind of sounds like you are.
Not at all.
That's fine.
Wouldn't say that.
Okay. Moving to the forward pack.
Yep.
Start with the big boys up front.
Easy.
What do you got?
Paddy Carrigan, quite possibly. Him and Payne Haas have been doing for the Maroons this season has been nothing short of amazing. He had 200 metres last week against the Dogs and 47 tackles. Like, that is... How he just keeps punching out those stats is absolutely crazy. He's averaging 182 metres this season. He's averaging 35 tackles and just 66 minutes on the field. I wouldn't be shocked. He could possibly play 80. He could possibly play 80 in for Queensland at front row. So he takes my first spot. The next spot, can't go past a horse. Cleared of his concussion somehow for this game, but he has just been really good for Ricky's Raiders. 16 runs, 133 metres per game. A lot of penalties about him. A lot of penalties. If he can knock that out, that would be absolutely unreal. 2 offloads, 32 tackles per game as well at 93% efficiency. One of the best efficiencies of any prop forward this season. So just can't go past Corey.
Talk to me. I think those two are absolute shit ins.
Do you reckon they're starters? Do you reckon Corey's a starter? Or
You know what? I was actually thinking just then, like, obviously Carrigan's been playing in the front row, he's been
Yep.
killing it. He's never worn 8 or 10 for Queensland yet.
Yep.
He's played lock the vast majority of the time. And I think in Brisbane, he's better suited at 10. I do wonder, and we'll get to the 13 jersey soon, but I do wonder if with Hopgood injured, I'm trying to think who else would be that. Is there another obvious 13 for Queensland? Cotter?
Tino?
Tino. Oh, you could play Tino.
do you reckon Tino's a prop?
See, I kind of prefer, I like Tino at lock for the Titans.
Yeah.
But geez, I think I just want him going north and south.
Yeah.
For Queensland. Like I don't think they will, but I wouldn't be against playing Pat Carrigan at 13 for
Yeah.
Queensland. But I don't think Corey Horsburgh, Tino, and him, you could play any of them at 13 and do well. So
100%. Well, they just playing in the middle, molded in the middle. I just feel like, geez,
Yes.
I don't think Tino's going to throw it out the back. God hope he doesn't do that chip kick again in Origin. But I mean, it worked out, I guess. So 1 from 1, he's got the efficiency there. But yeah,
Mo Fodawaker, he obviously played all 3 games last year. He's not on my radar this year. I don't think he's been good enough personally. What do your stats say?
yeah, he has dropped off in terms of stats. 12 runs, 120 meters per game, 31 tackles though. He has been picking up his defense. Could be because of the way the Titans have been going in attack lately. Just the one error, just really consistent. Speaking of north-south footballers, he'll get the job done. He's off my bench. I've got Horse starting ahead of him, but he is definitely there on my bench. Ruben Cotter, another player.
You've got Mo Fodawaker on your bench?
On my bench, yeah.
Okay. On the stats bench or your bench?
Stats bench and my
Yeah.
bench. I
Okay.
think, once again, we talk
Interesting.
about players who've done the job.
Yep.
He has done the job. And as you mentioned, with Queensland and Origin, it's just players just step up.
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
feel
yeah.
like he's one of those players who gets that and can do it for Billy. Ruben Cotter, another player, he should be back for game 1 after his 2-week suspension is served.
Yeah.
So he would definitely, I think he's, if Horse doesn't start, he's probably a starter. He hasn't been putting up the same stats that he usually does. Been playing a lot less minutes. Usually was around that 60-minute mark last season for the Cows. Now at 55 minutes. Just getting through his work. 37 tackles. He was averaging over 40 per game last season. His meters are around 85 meters. He's not making a truckload of meters when he does run the ball. He's not one of those big carriers, but he's just one of those small buggers who just makes his tackles, takes the carries, whether it's the tough ones that go absolutely nowhere. He's not going to barge through like a Paddy Carrigan and get that offload away. He's, like we've been mentioning, north-south.
You need those guys in your footy side.
Absolutely. And the mongrel, the captaincy, the leadership, all that.
Lindsay Collins going to be back in time?
MCL, he's got at the
believe.
moment.
He's must have been out for 3 or 4 weeks by now.
Yeah, I think he's 6 weeks.
6 weeks, yeah.
So
touch and go.
back from an MCL, I think
it's a
he'd be a
lot
lot.
for a big boy,
I think we've
yeah.
got a lot of front rowers, as we mentioned, that could cover in the time being.
Yep.
You could even throw, Max Plaff in the middle too there for
Tom
Lease
Gilbert.
if you really want. Yeah.
Gilbert Felice,
Yeah.
yeah. All right, let's get to the back row because I think this is the most interesting conversation when it comes to Queensland. Mate, I'm looking around the room. Bo Fermor, Jaden Sewer, Nanai. I don't feel hyper confident on any of them, if I'm completely honest. Like I don't feel like the stocks are anywhere near as good as New South Wales. What do your stats say?
They're very low compared to the stats rating in general for New South Wales compared to Queensland.
Yeah.
The stats rating completely obliterated. I think Pat Carrigan, Tino, Daly, Bo and Corey Horsburgh, and then the rest is just a drop off. New South Wales just absolutely clear them because I think Jaden Sewer does get a start in this team, and a lot of people, especially after what they saw on Saturday, would be going, "Why the hell would you pick him?" But
I genuinely, every time I think about the Queensland back row, I forget Sewer.
Yeah.
I forget him all the fucking time. And maybe he is. Like, I think both Thermal's going to get one of them.
Yeah.
And then I keep thinking they'll just throw Cotter out there or maybe a Gilbert. But
Yeah.
maybe Sewer is the play.
has to be. He's been playing statistically better, of course. Nanai, obviously coming off the bench. You don't have him around. Tom Gilbert, less. In fact, David Fafita's above Tom Gilbert in terms of second row stats as well. But you got Jaden Suez punching through 14 runs, 129 metres per game, 29 tackles. Look, he's just present. He's really good. He'll get the job done. He's been performing at an all right rate for the Dragons this season, despite how they're going. I just think that he and Bo Firma, I've got those two as my statistical starters. I think Bo Firma gets his debut this season. He's easily been the best back rower for Queensland. Nanai's starting to make impact starting, which is great to see. So I could potentially see Nanai coming in at right second row there, even though he's been playing most of the season at left. But yeah, those two would be probably the main ones. But yeah, those definitely that back row. I hate mentioning Jaden Stewart, great player, but like in terms of like the big names that we just mentioned for New South Wales, the Homoles, the Huddy Youngs, the Angus Crydens, Liam Martin, and then we're putting up obviously Jaden Stewart, Bo Firma, who hasn't played Origin before. It's a scary prospect that the back row stocks are low, but I think Stewart's done it before. He's got some experience there at Origin. I think he's won a series, so he knows what it takes too. So. Very interesting.
All right. The last one I want to throw at you, and I think people forget he actually started on the edge in Game 3 last year, was Kurt Capewell. And, mate, I think he's been really good for the Warriors this year. I've been very critical in the last year or so of him. But I think he's been pretty good for the Warriors this year.
Absolutely. And he's been able to fill at centre. We saw him do, I think he had that chip and chase famously at Adelaide for Queensland. So I think that he's definitely up there and deserves a spot. I wouldn't have him in my top 20, but he's definitely a player who can definitely cover that position if needed to for the Queenslanders.
All right. Now, lock forward. We've sort of already thrown up all these names.
Yeah.
Just quickly, what does your stats say?
I'm going to go straight to Tino as my starting lock forward. He's just been too good not to look at. A player, though, that I wanted to put forward, obviously Max Plaff we've talked about as well, but Trent Loiero, does he come up on your radar at all? I feel like he's just been getting into his work there in Melbourne. 13 runs per game, 107 metres. He's got 32 tackles per game, just been getting through absolutely everything. Only one error so far this season. Think that he was 18th man in Game 3, replacement player. I think he gets a bench spot. I think he does.
I think he really did his chances not many favours on the weekend. I think, as you said, one error. He cost them that game on the weekend. That was brain dead stuff. He let the Raiders get under his skin and it cost them 2 points. So I don't think Slater will be overly impressed by that. But if you take that out, I genuinely think over the last 4 weeks he's been one of the hardest working guys in the comp. He just doesn't get those insane numbers like your Mays, your Haas, these sort of guys. So, mate, last week I probably had him on the bench to start. Now I'm just a little bit – if I'm Slater, I'm looking at that going, fuck, Origin's a big cauldron. You're on debut. They're going to try and get at you here. I didn't like that he lost his cool in a key moment the other day.
I've never seen him lose his cool either.
You were to play the ball away from winning that game of football and getting on the plane with a win. And you fucked it. Which that's a little bit concerning for me.
100%.
But I think Billy would obviously have a very good relationship with him.
100%.
Down there in Melbourne. So I think he will debut at some point this year. And I think he is sort of the forgotten man a little bit. Just that 13 jersey as well. Obviously Hopgood played last year. I'm pretty confident he's carrying a back injury. I'm pretty sure that's what's holding him back at the moment. I think he's playing like 30 or 40 minutes per game. They put him into hooker a few weeks ago to open the game and everything, but even since then he's playing a little bit of minutes. So unfortunately, whether it's form, whatever it is, I'm pretty sure it's a back injury again though. I just can't see Hopgood getting a gig.
Yeah, he's up there, definitely. He's fourth best rung for lock. Still averaging 37 tackles per game. He's got 53 minutes on the field, so 9 runs, 37 tackles per game, basically 46 involvements in that regard in 53 minutes. So it's not too bad, but Max Plaff, as I mentioned, I think Loiero is probably a jump ahead of him at the moment too.
Let's talk hooker. Harry Grant's obviously first choice guy, injured at the moment, not named this week. We believe he'll be named next week. If Harry Grant is upright, I think they pick him at 9. Let's say Harry Grant's not there. We're talking Reid Marnie. Who else are we talking? Maybe a Kurt Mann, Max Platt, maybe.
Potentially.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be dog on Reid Marnie if they move past him. He's been really good for the Dogs. 5 try involvements in 8 games.
I guess Ben Hunt is the other one.
Ben Hunt, of course. But I reckon Billy plays to Harry Grant Harry Grant bloody came off the bench in most of those games last series. Billy likes to play with those two players. So I think you just got to go with Reid here if Harry isn't good to go. He's proven before he's got that niggle in you, which you need for Origin. Billy can make sure he can pull it back because I'm sure the New South Wales team will be going after him the entire 40 minutes. Then
I don't know if Billy will pull it back, to be honest with you.
Really? You reckon he'll let him?
Oh, mate, I love Billy, but he had some fucking CUNT in him.
Yeah.
That's just what he was like too.
Yeah, 100%.
It's funny with Billy Slater, like he's Mr. Perfect.
He's a
you
bush
go back and
poet.
watch his game.
Bush poet.
I love Billy. I think he's the greatest fullback to ever play. He was a fucking grub. He went at it.
Yeah.
And I loved him for it.
Yeah.
But it's funny how the kicking blokes in the air when he's catching balls,
Yeah.
leading with the boots in the corner.
That was just unfortunate.
That was unfortunate, of course. Once again, I love Billy, but it is funny how perception changes.
Yeah.
Like he was a dog that would do anything for a win.
Yeah.
And I love that.
That Brett Stewart tackle, just unfortunate.
Just
landing.
unfortunate.
Just
Yeah,
very
yeah,
unfortunate.
That's unfortunate he dove with the shoulder into his
really
face
low.
from 15 metres yes, so hooker, I think it will be Harry Grant, if not Reid Marnie. Bench, I mean, the makeup of the bench, I think we've sort of covered all those dudes. And I think New South Wales have a problem of how would you use your interchange, where would they go? I think Queensland just need to pick the three best forwards out of all those guys we've left out, essentially, from the starting team. The 14 jersey I'm interested in. Tom Dearden, we mentioned.
Yeah.
He'd be my 14. Kurt Mann, I reckon he's been playing out of his skin. Where does he rank on your shit?
He's up there 100%. He's got plenty of tackles. The thing that docks him, I was big on Kurt Mann last season, don't get me wrong. This season, minutes have been a bit of a problem. He's only averaging 33 minutes per game for the Dogs. Now, he was dominating the minutes last season. He's had 10 runs, 86 metres. He's 18 tackles, just not getting as much involvement. So he's dropped a bit down on the stats, but that's just purely because of his game time. I feel like the fact that he isn't getting as many minutes this season, it could impact his selection here.
Fair.
And I just feel like you look at what Billy's done in last series. He picked Harry Grant at 14. He picked a roving fullback. I've had Kalen Ponga or Selwyn Cobbo there in that 17 jersey, which makes me think, is that what he wants to look for this series? Is Selwyn Cobbo a possibility at that 17 jersey again, where he just somehow thought that Reece Walsh would get his head chopped off in the first 4 minutes of Origin, and that worked really well.
Yeah.
Whether he's an oracle and wants to do that again, that's where I was thinking that I don't know if Selwyn Cobbo would come into that position. I feel like that's where I was going with the Jaden Campbell element.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
A
okay,
similar player who can fold into fullback 5'8", wherever you need him to go. It's really interesting. Do you think that strategy worked for him outside of Selwyn Cobbo coming on for Reece Walsh 4 minutes into the game and being a perfect
It's hard to
substitute?
ignore that, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, that was it. That was it's not what I would do personally.
Yeah.
But I don't know, Billy Slater's forgotten more than I know.
Yeah.
Can I ask you, your 1 to 17 you got for Queensland, is Max Plath in it or not?
He's not in it
Okay.
at the moment. No.
Is Trent Leroux in it?
Yes. I've got him slightly ahead.
And where is Dearden in that 17?
6. It's we were talking before. Munster did, and
Okay.
it's a tough one. I mean, I know they're going to go Cam Munster for the record, and also head noise about me talking about Tom Dearden having more heart. They also have both really big hearts. Tom Dearden's slightly bigger in my opinion, but also Cam Munster compared to any New South Wales heart, much bigger. So I just want to clear that one up too. Make sure you put that in the clip when you drag me under the water.
Where was your heart last year?
But yeah, that would be the side. I'd have Tom Dearden Daly as my 2'5'8" halfback at the moment.
Okay. Anything else you want to add from the Queensland side? Anyone else you want to touch on that we didn't mention, or are we...
Ethan Bullymore.
Ooh, yeah, I like this.
Do you see him as a bench spot coming off? What he does for Manly is absolutely incredible. Do you see him potentially, if they go with Firma and Nanai, Bullymore 15 comes onto that back row, or is he now kind of turned into a middle forward?
I don't think he's at that level yet, personally.
Okay.
He's the one that I could see in a squad somewhere, but I don't think he's ready for Origin football just yet. But if he was a guy that Slater picked out an arrow and he did really well, you'd be like, of course.
Of course.
He's fucking
Absolutely.
mad. Yeah.
He is.
I think the other guys have done too much and achieved too much to leave them out for Bullimore, personally. But yeah, isn't he just a classic guy? Queensland have 8 injuries. They pick Bullimore and he kills it. I can fucking see it. I know he'd be able to handle himself there. I think he is a while away still.
Yeah. What would you like to see from him? What would
I think it's hard, mate.
Do you
He
want
just
him
doesn't
to
get
start or what?
opportunity. I would like to see him start. I would like to see it a bit more. I feel like every 2 months I watch a game and I go, oh, Bullimore. And then I don't think about him for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And then you watch him again and he scores at $8. You go, oh, fuck, Bullimore's mad.
Yeah,
I want to see. And I feel for him because he doesn't get the opportunity to be consistent at Manly. Paseka out this year probably helps that case, but he just doesn't get as many opportunities. And I think it's detrimental to himself because he is so good with his impact.
Yeah.
I think that's what kind of hurts Bullimore a little bit.
Yeah.
But he is a classic guy that Slater would see 10 things that I don't see one.
Yeah.
With him.
Yeah, 100%.
All right. Are we good?
We're all good.
That was fucking fantastic, brother. You're good at what you do. I love that.
Thank you, mate. Appreciate it.
We're going to go through our tips very quickly. Brought to you by Neds. Catmandu. Welcome in the second hour of the show. How are you?
Yeah, just almost the second hour of the show.
Christ.
That was
Jeez.
well done, guys. You
Sowie who?
can talk.
Never
Can
heard of him.
talk.
Should have brought your headgear in here. Were you a headgear guy? You
I
were,
was
weren't you?
actually, yeah. Get the, it's Gill, but it's not
Fuck
stadium,
Sowie's
but
off.
yeah.
Talk to me, Kat. What do we got?
Well, you can put on the headgear that's right there if you want.
That's all good, mate. Out of respect, I won't. Out of respect.
All right, let's kick it off. So Thursday, 7:50 p.m, we have our first game between the Eels and the Dolphins at CommBank Stadium.
Dolphins at $2.10 on Neds. The Parramatta Eels at $1.73. This is a real coin toss sort of game for me. I'm going to go with Parramatta because they're at home, but not a game I'd be betting on the result on personally. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I think it's so bloody tough to pick this game. I think the Dolphins. What were they? What were they the last 2 weeks? Unbelievable. We'll be quick because Kat obviously has to go somewhere. So just to be quick, I think Dolphins get the job done. I'll go against you on that one.
I like it. Kat,
Oh
next
my
game.
goodness, I didn't mean to rush you, Rando.
No, it's all right.
You can hang around as long as you like.
No,
thank you.
no one's hanging around.
no.
Okay, you all got to go home. Yeah. All right.
All right, fine.
Next game.
All right, Friday, let's kick off some more action. We have the Knights taking on the Titans at McDonald Jones Stadium, 6 p.m.
Another game where I'll be using my coin again, I think. Titans at $2.65, Knights $1.48. I'm going to take Newcastle because they're at home. Jaden Campbell in really concerns me about that tip. Not a game I'd be betting on the result here. I wouldn't trust either of these teams as far as I can throw them. Can't throw them overly far for what it's worth. Newcastle for me, but fuck knows.
Knights, they've won and covered the line in their last 6 home games against the Titans. Haven't lost to them at McDonald Jones since 2016. So I'll be taking the Knights and I'll be chewing up that line too.
Love that. Talk to me, Mandu.
All right. A game where 2 teams will be wanting to come back, but only one can win. Friday, 8 p.m, we have the Rabbitohs taking on the Broncos at Accor Stadium.
Broncos short favourite on Neds, $1.28. The Bunnies out to $3.75. Wayne Bennett against his former club. Madge against his former club. You love to see it.
Yep.
I think Brisbane will be too good. What do you reckon?
I think the Broncos be too good. Rabbitohs losing their last 8 consecutive games against top 8 teams, including all 3 games this season.
Yep, Rando, you can go actually.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome to my life.
Oh, wow. Why didn't you say anything when he spoke?
There's only so many times I can
don't
tell
pay
him
that,
to
mate.
When he said...
Good gear.
Straight. All right, into Super Saturday, which kicks off with the Raiders taking on the Bulldogs. I was at a cafe this morning and my cousin was in a Bulldogs jersey and the barber said if the Bulldogs beat the Raiders, he would give him a free haircut. And if they lose, he'll have to pay double. I'm looking at him right now. So he's pretty sure the Bulldogs are going to win, but I'm curious what you guys think.
I think
for
there's a
this
free
one.
haircut incoming just quietly. I've got an upset in this one. I think the Doggies go down there and they win this one in a tight affair. Dogs at 205. I like it on Neds.
Yeah, I love the Bulldogs here. They've won 7 of the last 8 games away from home. They've won 10 of the last 11 day games. And the Raiders, 6-day turnaround, coming off Golden Point. I think they played their grand final last week. So I think the Bulldogs get the job done.
Huge.
It's a spicy prediction there. All right, then we have Saturday, 5:30 p.m. Dragons taking on the Warriors at Wynn Stadium.
Wires at $1.70. Dragons outsiders at home, $2.15. I think it's time we start putting some proper respect on this Warriors side, mate. I think they get the job done here. Hopefully Roger Tuivasa-Sheck returning, which is a huge in. I like them at $1.70. What are you thinking?
I'm going to go the upset here. Dragons, they've won 11 of their 13 games at Wynn Stadium against the Warriors. They've won 5 of the last 7 games as underdogs too against them. So I reckon Flano, he will be absolutely pissed off. He doesn't like losing multiple games in a row. I reckon he gets them up and going and the Warriors go down.
Okay. It's your boys now. We're going to talk about Rando.
Cowboys done. Thank you.
The North Queensland Cowboys taking on the Panthers, 7:35 Saturday prime time. What have we got?
Penny Panthers at $1.60. The North Queensland Cowboys, $2.35 on Neds. The big question, are the Panthers back? I think this is an absolute must-win game for Penrith. They go into a bye after this. I don't think they can afford to lose this game if they kind of want to play finals footy this year. This will probably be the last week they have their entire side with Origin incoming and whatnot. I think this is must-win, backs against the wall. I think the Panthers win this one. What do you reckon?
I'm going to tip the Cowboys because they're my team, but just one here. Edwards, Cleary, Kenny and Yo playing together. They're 2-1 this season, 1-5 without one of them playing.
Huge.
So I think it scares me, that spine, but obviously I'll tip the Cowboys, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if
I
Penrith
just think
win.
this one will mean more to Penrith.
I'm not arguing. I'm just going off pride.
Yes, I respect
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Talk to me, Kat.
Respect that. Okay, Sunday, 2 p.m, Storm taking on the West Tigers down in Melbourne at Amy Park.
Tigers Outsiders here at $4.60. The Melbourne Storm $1.20. Mate, last night I actually thought the Tigers might be a little sniff in this. I've marinated on it. I think the Melbourne Storm put the cleaners through this mob. I just think off that loss to the Raiders, that they lost off ill discipline. Melbourne never do that. I think Bellamy's going to have these guys up and about in this game. I reckon the Melbourne Storm put on a score. What do you reckon?
I think the Storm get the job done. I'm actually going to take the Tigers the line. I reckon they won't get disrespected too much. The biggest winning margin for the Storm against the Tigers at Amy Park is 14 points in their 6 visits. But Storm, they've won 7 consecutive home games. They're not losing this one.
The line at 15.5 for what it's worth, so it speaks to you.
Yeah.
I like that.
Thank you.
Next one, Kat.
All right, well,
bring us home.
Bring you home. We're at 4 Pines Park up in Manly. Beautiful Sunday afternoon. It's Mother's Day. Manly taking on the Sharks. Who have we got?
Manly, the favourites at $1.68. Cronulla at what I would describe as a disrespectful $2.20. I like the Sharkies for the upset here. What do you reckon?
I back Manly here. I think Sunday afternoon games at Brookie with Tom Trbojevic in the number 1 jersey. I reckon they get the job done. Now, Tom Trbojevic, he hasn't played the Sharks, I think, since 2023. I don't think he's played him at Brookie since 2021. So, obviously, the Sharks have won their last 3 consecutive games at 4 Pines. I reckon Manly, I don't know how they've pulled that win against Penrith out of their backsides, but off the bye, they've won 8 of the last 10 off the bye, so I'm going to pick them.
8 off the last 10 off buys, Manly won.
Yep.
That's a pretty good start.
That is. Should have used that one on.
Don't
About it.
love
Exclusive Roo.
Exclusive
Roo stat.
You're
Yes.
welcome. My multi of the week, guys, $22.52 on the Neds app. You can follow me along. I have got the New Zealand Warriors at $1.70. I have got the Panthers minus 4.5. Also got Alamotti to cross. The Melbourne Storm minus 15.5. Wish I heard Rando's stat before that. Tom Trbojevic at $2.20 to cross as well. You're getting $22.52 rugby league cents on the Neds app. Follow along, guys, on the Rugby League Guru profile and whatnot. This has been quite an innings.
Huge innings.
Two
Huge.
Nights Watchmen just doing their best until Sowie returns.
Absolutely. Well, you said to keep talking until Sowie walks through the door.
We're almost there.
We're going to keep
Only
going.
one more day. We're almost there. Mate, appreciate you as always. If you are on socials and you're not following Random Stats Guy for whatever ridiculous reason it might be, make sure you jump on, follow Rando. Patreon as well, flying.
Yep, going real good. You can find all the stuff, all the stats, and even more on that. Everything I say and what I don't say is on that.
I'd say there's a stupid amount of stuff on there.
Wait, I write 5,000 words each week on the round. So
Wow.
You'll find, if you can't find the stat there, then I'm out. I've
You're
not
the
done my
problem.
job.
Can't help
Not
you.
a full refund. I can't afford that. But catch me there. $4 for the Rugby League Legends per week. Nice
how
and
good.
affordable.
Rando, your 18th man this week. You got the call up, and I thought you handled the main stage, the big arena, well.
Tell you what, the bright lights
Bright
definitely
lights
got me.
got you
I don't
early.
think I could look at the camera because every time I looked at the camera, I turned to you. I couldn't see you because it was just flash. But no, thank you so much for having me on board. Can't wait to get roasted in the clips that you put up. I'll definitely be put out of context, but that's what I signed up.
Yeah, and give it to him in the comments.
Absolutely.
It's all in good fun.
Yeah,
Let's be
turn off the
honest.
notifications
Yeah,
on Instagram and I'll live.
we love to see it. Yeah, good. All right, guys, thanks for joining us once again. Sowie back next week. Whether you're happy about that or not, I'm not sure. Rando was great, but we'll see you next week here on the Take the Two podcast.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website